Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 5 of my Homestead series. This beautiful home you see was built by the end of today's episode, and I'm so excited to share the journey with you. Using the Create mod, we're diving into the Gather phase, collecting all the materials we need to bring this vision to life. Let's jump in. All right, here we are again, back in our trusty little cave near the spawn. I know, we've been here before, but hear me out. I remember there's a whole lot of diorite down here, and we are definitely gonna need piles of it if we want our cannon to do its thing and build that beautiful house. So, grab your pickaxe, maybe a snack, and join me as we dive back into the depths for what I'm calling Operation Diorite, or Die Trying. Don't worry, I've lit it up pretty well, probably, maybe. Let's keep mining. And would you look at that? We've hit the diorite jackpot, but we're not done yet. Oh no. Now it's time to head deeper, down where the light gets dim and the stakes get spookier. Yep, we're diving into the depths for some good old deep slate. All right, back at the homestead, and it's paper time. I'm using a modded trick, turning tree bark into paper, with just a cutting board and an axe. It's a little slow, a little crunchy, but honestly a lifesaver in a pinch. Let's keep chopping. Now, to make use of this fancy carpenter's table, we've got to be careful, really careful, because the Create mod cannon is a bit picky. Back when I designed the house in Creative, I used a very specific type of flooring, and if we don't match that exact name here, the cannon's not going to build it. There are a lot of options to scroll through, so we're double checking everything. But once we get it right, bam, super fancy floors just like in the plan. One step closer to setting off that cannon and watching it build. Next up, the glass blower's table. This one's from the chip mod, and I absolutely love it. One of the coolest things, it uses glass panes instead of full blocks. You can use full blocks, but this one allows you to do panes as well for stained glass, which is such a nice touch. The table takes a few steps to craft, so let's walk through them together. First, I needed bricks, so I may or may not have borrowed some from that building in the nearby village. Then came a blast furnace and a bit of iron. I really appreciate how the crafting ingredients actually make sense for a glass blowing setup. It just feels right. Once we've got the table built, we'll finally get to dye our panes using that elusive green dye. You know, the one that was harder to find than diamonds? And just like the carpenter's table, the glass blower has an incredible menu of options. You won't believe the variety of stained glass styles it offers, and somehow it manages to be fun without feeling overwhelming. I'll walk you through the steps here, and then I'll handle the rest of the 118 panes off camera. Don't worry, I'll bring you back in for the fun stuff. Oh, and one more thing. While I was out collecting diorite in the flower forest, I stumbled across another fir tree. So for this batch of green dye, we're using that one. First up, we'll make green stained glass blocks, then convert those into panes, and finally pop them into the glass blower's table to see all the beautiful options. I ended up choosing the small green glass pane for this build. It's subtle, elegant, but honestly, they're all gorgeous. Also, quick side note. I do know you can share schematics with friends, and if you want to try this house for yourself, let me know. I'd be more than happy to include the schematic in the description. No pressure at all, only if you're interested, but I'd love to share it with anyone who wants to give it a go. I found this little room while I was out searching for limestone. It's kind of scary, kind of cute, and definitely unexpected. I thought it was interesting enough to show you. Nothing dangerous down here, no monsters lurking, and nothing too exciting in the chest either, but honestly, it's these little surprises that make this mod pack so fun. Even when you're just grinding for resources, there's always something cool to stumble across. Okay friends, we're back at the homestead and the cannon is finally ready to roll. Everything's set up, and we're about to jump into a lovely little time lapse of our home being built, block by block, right before our eyes. While we watch the build come together, I have a tiny confession to make, and I hope you'll still stick around after I tell you. So, there I was, standing all proud and ready to press the button when I realized, two things had gone a bit wrong. First, I discovered that I've been collecting the wrong kind of limestone this whole time. I've got meadow limestone, which is very pretty, but not the one I used when designing this house in Creative. I searched everywhere, across biomes, down in the right Y levels, even tried squinting really hard, like maybe I just missed it. But it simply did not want to be found. Then came the second surprise. Turns out that because I included the ground floor of my build, I also accidentally included the surrounding grass blocks, and I don't have silk touch. So, unless I was planning to politely ask the grass to climb into my inventory, I wasn't getting any of those blocks the proper way. So, after a lot of back and forth with myself and maybe a small snack break, I decided to give myself just the missing blocks, the right limestone and a few grass blocks, just so we could get this episode rolling. Everything else, from the logs to the stone to the tiniest detail, I gathered fully in survival, I promise. I just wanted to be honest about that because that's the kind of cozy little world I want us to build here, one where we can all be real with each other. And at the end of the day, this is a game, and games are meant to be fun. We get to make the rules we can live with, forgive the little bumps along the way, and keep building something we love. Now, let's sit back, enjoy the rest of this time lapse, and watch me zip around in fast motion doing a bit of terraforming while the build finishes up. It's going to look so good when it's done. I can't wait to show you. Okay, here we are with the finished home, and I'm honestly so happy with how it turned out. Seeing it fully built just brings a huge smile to my face. There's still plenty to do, of course. I can't wait to add some landscaping, maybe a little garden area, some winding paths, lanterns, maybe even a cozy bench or two. But for now, let's step inside and take a proper look around. As we come into the first level, this space is going to be all about utility and warmth. There's a really rich farming and cooking system in here, and I can't wait to start growing crops, experimenting with recipes, and just living that peaceful cottagecore farming life. I imagine this space bustling with activity, bubbling pots, shelves full of herbs, maybe even a cozy fireplace tucked into the corner. Now, heading up to the second level, this is going to be more personal. I'll set up a comfy bedroom space, a few decorations, and most importantly, a little display corner for our plushies. You've probably seen me collect a few already, and I think this spot will be perfect for showing them off. There will also be a little enchanting and reading nook somewhere calm and magical for when we need a break from the grind. And finally, up in the attic, that's where all the chests are going to live. I plan to stash everything up here. Extra building blocks, loot, resources, the whole works. Thankfully, this mod pack includes a wireless storage terminal, so even though everything will be stored up here, I'll be able to access it easily from the first floor. It keeps the main area clean and open while still giving this attic a purpose. I really like that. Out of sight, but never out of mind. So, that's the plan for the house. I'm so excited to slowly fill it with life and make it feel like home. Now, for this part of the design process, I'm going to do a little trick with these glass bottles that I learned a while ago. It's a small thing, but it makes such a big difference in how the water feels. Okay, where's my glass? I had some in here somewhere. Ah, there it is. All right, we're going to take the glass and go ahead and make some bottles. Nothing fancy, just your regular old glass bottles. Now, here's the fun part. Once you have your bottles, you can head over to any water source like this pond right here and just fill them up. Then, if you take those filled water bottles and pour them directly onto the dirt blocks, it actually turns the dirt into mud. Super simple, right? But here's why I love this. With the shaders I'm using, the water is so crystal clear that you can really see the bottom. And having regular dirt there just doesn't feel quite right. It looks too dry, too out of place. But with mud, oh, it's darker, smoother. It's got this richness to it that makes the whole bottom of the pond feel a bit deeper and more natural. It's a subtle change, but one that makes the water feel more alive, like it's been sitting here for a while. It's those little things, right? Now, at some point, I might come back and change this up, maybe try coarse dirt or even some rooted dirt to mix in more texture, but for now, I really like the look of the mud, especially with the raindrops from the shaders hitting the surface. It just looks so serene, so pretty. I love those tiny ripples and how they catch the light. It makes me want to just sit here and watch it for a bit. Anyway, I'm going to keep working around this area a little more. I'm mostly focused on clearing it up, replacing some of the exposed stone with dirt, smoothing out the shape a little. It doesn't need to be perfect, just natural and soft. The idea is to get a nice clean base layer before we start going wild with the greenery, like ferns, vines, some moss maybe, and of course flowers and grass. I'm picturing this space to feel lush and slightly overgrown, kind of like it's been here forever. I'm also thinking about adding a little interest where the gravel path comes in. I want it to feel intentional but still blend in, so I'll play around with some textures there. And yeah, I'll definitely be changing out all the stone in this section for dirt or maybe even a little rooted dirt just to give it more warmth. So that's where we're at. Still very much in the foundation stage of the build, but I think it's coming together. My block placement is not always the best, as you can probably tell, but we're getting there bit by bit. All right, let's keep going. Now it's time to start on the path. I'm going to bring you along for a bit of my thought process, though to be honest, it's less thinking and more just doing what feels right. I've started laying down some limestone cobblestone, mixed in a few path blocks, and I'm trying to make it feel a little overgrown and organic. I've started the path just in front of the house, winding it over toward the pond, and yep, you'll catch me placing blocks before clearing the grass over and over. I really should get better, but it's just one of those things that when you're in the zone. Anyway, I'm not aiming for perfection yet, just getting the shape down so we can build around it later. Now that the water treatment area is wrapped up, I want this part of the world to feel peaceful and a little lived in. Maybe we add a bench or a little gardening corner later. For now, I just want to break up all this flat green with a cozy little path. We've got some moss blocks I'm really excited to use. It's got this beautiful connected texture that adds so much. I don't have many of them left, so I'm bone mealing carefully and grabbing some of that slightly darker grass color to add variation. It's subtle, but it really makes a difference when you step back. Oh, and now that we've finally got the storage attic set up, I can start accepting all those quest book rewards I've been ignoring. I kind of forgot how many things we've completed, so it might be fun to open those up soon and see what goodies we've got stored up. Speaking of which, what do you all think we should tackle next? I've been thinking either we get our first little farms going or we focus on expanding the storage system more properly. Now that we've got space up top, maybe we do some kind of sorting system, or there's this wireless terminal that I think we might even get as a reward that would allow us to do the crafting from downstairs, though all the storage is upstairs. I think that might be kind of fun. And having organized storage early really helps the game. Let me know what sounds fun to you. I love that Modded Minecraft gives us so many directions to explore, and I'm thinking if we did the farms first, then maybe while the crops are growing, we could work on the storage. Now, we're going to work on placing some greenery along the path, just to bring it all to life a bit more. I want the edges to feel soft and overgrown, like this path has always been here, slowly carving out by footsteps and time. I've carved a nice little collection of flowers along the way, so I'm going to tuck those in here and there just wherever they feel right. No plan, just vibes. And yes, I am going to plant an apple tree. I've been saving a sapling just for this spot right in front of the house. I think it'll be perfect. It's the kind of thing I imagine myself walking past every morning, grabbing a snack and heading off on some adventure. Or, let's be honest, heading back inside because I forgot something again. I'm just really loving how this place is starting to come together. We've tucked into this little meadow with all trees around and a mountain standing in the back. It feels like the kind of place where you'd hear birds chirping, bees buzzing, and maybe just one slightly judgmental cow watching over everything you do from a distance. I've also been thinking, now that we're getting a real home base going, it might be time to make a path to the nearby village. I can see it now, a cozy little road winding through the woods, lanterns hanging from the trees, maybe a few signs saying things like, "This way to fresh bread." I want to start meeting the villagers, see what kind of trades we can get. I mean, let's be honest, my current tools are just not cutting it. And I still haven't found diamonds yet, which feels like sort of a personal attack from the Minecraft gods at this point because I have done some serious caving. So, on the list, diamonds, or at least some decent trades, or enchantments, or a really generous loot chest somewhere. We'll take what we can get. As I'm finishing up this path, I had one more thought I wanted to share with you. Kind of a heart thought. I've been toying with the idea of starting a storytelling series on this channel. Something quieter, more reflective. This mod pack, everything we've done here so far, it's got this charm to it, this sense of place that feels like it wants to be a bigger story. Recently, I finally took the time to really read the Minecraft end poem. You know, the one after the dragon fight that most of us probably just skip past while stress eating snacks? But this time, I sat down and read it slowly, and I was floored. It's poetic, weird, deep. It talks about the player and the universe, about dreams and reality, and it hit me in a way I didn't expect, like it reached straight down through the pixels and poked at something human. That got me thinking, what if we told a story here, one that blurs that line too? A story about a character living in this world, but who's maybe beginning to question where the world ends and they begin. Something gentle and thoughtful woven into the gameplay, but touching on those quiet moments we all have outside the game too. So I think I'm going to work on that this weekend. Write a little, build a bit, and see what it turns into. I don't want it to be overly dramatic or lore heavy, just something that makes you feel a little more connected, maybe a little more seen. I'd love to hear your thoughts too. Have you ever felt that pull, that sense that games like this are more than just crafting and mining, that they're little mirrors we build for ourselves? Do you think storytelling through gameplay hits differently when you're the one walking the path? And now let's take a little aerial view of all the work we've done today. I love this part, just pulling back and seeing how all the little details come together into something that feels alive. From the winding path to the flowers and the apple tree, it's really starting to feel like home. As always, thank you so much for being here, for sticking around to the end, for supporting not just the builds, but my little creative process. This way I get to connect with the world and with you. Until next time, stay cozy out there. Bye.